Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian own, nothing control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 598, case study, how not to leave assets to your children. And so we appreciate everybody that has planned to come to the workshop. We're going to go ahead and announce the new dream team that we got coming to the workshop, the new lineup, and this is what it is. So we got our infinite banker practitioner, ex R. Nelson Nash, Ben T. We got our IRS enrolled agent, Larissa, who can defend you in court. And we got one of Trust Christian's direct mentors, which are both mentors actually, the infinite banker and the estate planning specialist, Dr. Bay. Had a business, one of the best salesmen, can read you like a book, and is here to empower you. You know, you got a multi-million dollar lineup sitting in front of you, ladies and gentlemen. People say how you make money, how you make a million, you gotta get around millionaires. No doubt about it. So this room is that environment. Limited seating. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening, replay. Safe travels to everybody that's coming to the workshop. We definitely had one of the consultations today with someone, and they were literally sold a bag of goods. It wasn't good, it was bad goods. Some rotten tomatoes, and a lot of that just comes from not being in an environment with the right people, private people. You got people sit on the internet trying to promote trusteeship or trust, and in all actuality, that's what they doing. They promoting trust. They're not really promoting the training aspect of it. So hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thank you for tuning in live, listen to replay. This is the Vault, episode 598, case study, how not to leave assets to your children. So it's one of those things that we've done episodes similar to this, but we got a case right now that we've dealt with. And so, ladies and gentlemen, how you gonna leave assets to your children and divide the house up so your kids could fight over the asset? That's how not to leave the asset to your child. You got the asset where it's got two or three people's name on the deed. Does that make any sense? But people do it all the time. So what happens when you pass? You didn't have the assets in the right position, and now your kids are fighting over the asset. Now your family's divided because they're fighting over assets. They fighting over houses. They fighting over, cars. They fighting over bank accounts. That's how not to leave assets to your children. Where you don't have a what they call a will. But when you're in trusteeship, you don't think about a will. When you're in trusteeship, you don't have to have a will. And you'll get a lot of attorneys that'll still tell you, oh yeah, Trust Christian Vote, you could use this and use that. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, we in trustee training over here. We in private trustee training. There's no multiple ways to do it. It's a system. They got the public school system, they got the private school system. It's a system. So when you talk about, okay, Trust Christian, how not to leave assets to your children? If you if you don't have it in the correct position, you're gonna pass away and intestate. So for all y'all that's sitting around and have children, and then y'all ain't been to the doctors in a while, you're not sure about your health, you playing with fire. You playing with the fact that you're gonna leave your children in a position where you know the sneaky ones, you know the child that lies a lot, you know the good-hearted kid, and you put the good-hearted kid in a position where they now got to deal with the sneaky kid. They got to deal with and when we say kid, ladies and gentlemen, they're not kids. We're on the line with adults. So when the elder parent passed away, that was 80, 90, yeah, the kids, they're now 50 and 60, fighting over it like they're kids, acting immature like kids, making emotional decisions like kids. They getting lawyers involved in the family estate who's outside of the family estate like minorities. They're acting like a minor. So how do you not leave assets to your children? How not to leave assets to your children? First of all, not even having a will in place. But then when you get the lawyers and these attorneys and say, oh, put them in the will, trust Christian in the vote. Okay, so you put them in the will, but you divided the assets up improperly. You didn't just give them the asset directly. Maybe not the best thing, but why'd you put them in there on the same asset with the sneaky kid? So they put them on the asset with the sneaky kid. The sneaky kid is giving the good kind-hearted kid a hard time. You don't even understand, ladies and gentlemen. We sit on the line with people and they cry. Y'all don't want to know that. Maybe you didn't cry yet, but your children are going to cry when they sitting there having to deal with their brother or sister that doesn't want to act with integrity over real estate, over real assets, gold, silver, finance. You want to leave your kids like that in that position where they're in a position where, oh, the money was supposed to go to all of us, but it went somewhere else first. How not to leave assets? It's called trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. If you leave the assets in your name and you pass away without a will, you die intestate. That's what it's called. When you die intestate, that means that the gov is going to administer those assets. So why would you think about how long the assets can be tied up in probate, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know how long assets can be tied up in probate? You want to leave your children, even with the will, tied up in probate? 2-3 years, and the attorney's just milking the assets away. Think about this: how not to leave assets to your children? Allow the lawyer to take over the estate. For all y'all that reach out and say, "Oh man, I don't really mess with lawyers and attorneys," why would you leave it in a position where the assets can go into the estate's hands, go into the attorney's hands? And the attorney's just sitting there, oh yeah, it's no rush to give these people the money. There's no rush to give people the property. I got a bunch of stuff on my plate. Who's gonna pay me? That's what the attorney says. Who's gonna pay me? You're gonna put your children in a position where they gotta pay an attorney because you didn't give them the assets properly? That's what's going on. That's what we going over. That's what we going over at Trustee Training. It's about succession planning, proper succession planning. That's what we doing at the workshop. The focus is private foundation, making sure that at transferring the assets properly. Oh man, so the will we already know that ain't even competent. But let's get over to the trust part. Oh man, trust Christian vote. We actually told you all about how one of the trustees that we know went to law school, actually is a lawyer now, and the father left the house inside of a trust, and the brother decided to sue the trustee. The younger brother that wasn't a trustee because he wasn't given that information. Once he found out that the older brother was a trustee, the younger brother, why do you have money to waste like that? He literally tried to sue the brother. Oh, I need to get talking to people, not focused on working with your brother. See, y'all don't want to know that the money's going to divide the family if the estate is not set up properly. That's the facts. It's going to divide the family. Unfortunately, family members that used to speak ain't going to speak no more. We used to go to each other's parties. We don't go to those no more. Why? Because they're not cool. They're not happy with each other. Oh, that ain't gonna happen to me, trust Christian Vault. Yeah. First of all, do you know how hard it is to pass along wealth? And how are you passing it along? In a proper position? Okay, I'm gonna do it in trusteeship. So the younger brother says, I need an audit on the trust assets. I need an audit on my father's estate. To who? The brother. Calling up the mom who's still living. Hey mom, brother, he's not really telling me what's going on. Can you call and find out? The mom doesn't know. She calls. Hey son, Johnny said that he's not in the loop. And that was a lie. You don't even want to know that your children are going to lie on each other. Why would you be okay with that? How is that okay for your children to lie on each other? Because you didn't prepare them properly. That's what we're going to go over at the workshop. Oh, that's not gonna happen to me. Yeah, okay. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what religion you are. Well, there's only one religion that we think might not have a big issue, but you guys don't even want to know. Still, there are certain religions they'll sue each other. No doubt about it. They'll sue each other in the public court. How not to leave your assets to your children? You don't leave it to your children directly. So, who you think act like the beneficiary in that situation where the brother sued the brother or was it auditing the brother? The brother that was the beneficiary. The trustee knew that I need to be a trustee and dispose of these assets or manage these assets properly. The other brother was focused on getting his. See, that's how you gonna if you're gonna leave your children in a messed up situation. One of them or more may focused on getting theirs. I need to get mine. If you're not looking for that, ladies and gentlemen, then you're going to put yourself in the right position. You're going to put your family in the right position. If you want to know more, feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. This particular workshop that we have coming up is going to be the best workshop that we've ever done. And this is because we had to bring in some of the biggest mentors and speakers that we know privately. So we got Larissa. She can defend you and the trust. Oh man, I need a bookkeeper for the trust. Right. That's what they say. I need somebody to do the taxes for it. You got them right there. And they're an enrolled agent. They're going to make sure that you do it properly. Not just a CPA. Then you got the infinite banking practitioner. Learn from one of the original godfathers of it, R. Nelson Nash. Got out of over 6 figures worth of debt, over $500,000 worth of debt in less than 3 to 4 years. Oh man, that can't happen, George Christian. What are you talking about? In our environment in private family banking, even if you're not, first of all, we're going to let you know, if you're not wealthy, take this and live with it. If you're not wealthy, you say, what's wealthy, Christian? That means you got over 20 to $30 million. So let's just say you don't even have $1 million, but you got a 30-year mortgage. Yeah, in the environment that Trust Christian of all comes from, we come from where you pay off your mortgage in less than 15 years because they got people with the 15-year mortgage. No, we got mentors that pay them off in less than 7 to 9. Consistently training and educating people to pay it off in 7 to 9. That's the private family banking system. Oh no, Trust Christian Revolt. I don't know if that's possible. I never heard about that in the public because it's not public. It's private. The insurance policies are private contracts. It's private. That's why I was brought up in the private family. That's why I was brought up in the private environments because it's private. Then you got the state's planning specialist, Dr. Bay. What can we not say about Dr. Bay? Like Dr. Bay is somebody that has had an estate planning business, had it in over 14 states, actually got insurance companies to change their policies to accommodate some of the beneficiaries and people. Dr. Bay don't play around. He can help you out with structuring your business properly, sales, helping you with more of the mindset, the emotional aspect to the business. Because there's an emotional aspect to when you pass along assets from one generation to the next. What are you passing along? Money or are you passing along values? That's what we're going to talk about at the workshop. And that's all we're going to say. Are you passing along money or are you passing along values? Because the mentors that we associate with, they said it's not about the money, Trust Christian. It's about the values. What values are you passing along? Have you wrote down your values in your house? Do you have your values posted in your living room? Do you have your values posted in the kitchen? Do you have your values posted on the back of your door when you walk out? That's who you deal with when you deal with people in the private. They're focused on the values. How not to leave assets to your children? Leave it to them without a plan and without the values system in place. That's how not to leave assets to your children. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, it's Christian at trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from you all, tickets or otherwise. Peace and joy.